What's up, YouTube? I am James. We are in Philly, and this is James in Philly. My previous videos, I'm usually driving around door dashing, and it's more like a vlog. I'm kind of peppering in some facts while we pick up orders. I'm making jokes. But this video is going to be different because I'm not door dashing right now. I'm actually commuting to my full-time job. But I wanted to make a more concise video, spitting straight facts. I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to maximize your payout while door dashing or just food delivering in general. My number 1 tip to maximize your payout while door dashing is do not accept any orders $4 or less. Do not accept any orders $4 or less. When you're door dashing, you gotta know your worth. You can accept $4. I'm not saying never accept $4, but I'm saying you gotta draw the line somewhere. Your time is worth money. You know, you want to get at least 2 deliveries every hour. You know, that's just kind of what you want to be thinking. Oh, it used to be that DoorDash orders could be like $15 or up, but you know, lately in the last month, I haven't seen any orders that are 15 or more, unless you know there's a big tip, which you know, how often does that happen? You know, if you want to make 15 plus an hour, then you're gonna have to average around 2 orders an hour. When I DoorDash, it's mostly dinner time. So dinner is mostly where most of the you know, bigger orders are, where you can really make your money as a delivery driver. I understand that, you know, breakfast and lunch orders, they might be limited. All I'm saying is you gotta draw a line somewhere. And for dinner, you cannot accept anything $4 or less. All right, number 2 is to get to know your area. Okay, so where are you door dashing? So, you know, as an example, I drive in Philly, James in Philly. You know, I thought I knew Philly before door dashing, but you know, what I mean is like, get to know it like based on picking up and dropping off food, you know, at these restaurants, you know. So like, for example, in Philly, Center City is where like 90% of the orders come from. Center City, that's where all the skyscrapers are. That's where most of the restaurants are. It's not mostly residential, it's mostly commercial. So that's where a lot of the orders are. So as a driver, you want to be hanging out in that area because that's where you will be getting orders. Best case scenario, you get an order in Center City and you deliver it to Center City. That would be great. You know, if that happened all the time, because it's just quick orders. You know, boom, boom, boom. If I pick up an order in Center City and it says, you know, dropping it off to North Philly. Okay. I know come nighttime, like dark, like, you know, after 9 p.m., I'm not going to be accepting any orders to North Philly, okay? It gets a little sketchy out there. I'm primarily door dashing with my girlfriend, so at that point, like, I don't want her to get out of the car. You know, who knows what can happen. I don't mean any disrespect by that. Let's say I pick up an order in Center City and then I'm driving it to South Philly. So South Philly, I know that more like South Philly is more of a residential sort of area. So I know that if I pick up in Center City and drop off to South Philly, there is a good chance that I'm not going to get an order until I drive back up to Center City, because it's mostly residential in South Philly. So, you know, it's not like I'm never going to accept an order to South Philly. Like, I oftentimes do. But, you know, you just kind of have to weigh the cost benefit of maybe it's a 15-minute drive south. And then, you know, you just got to be thinking, okay, well, now it's going to take another 15 minutes to get me back to where all the restaurants are. And then to the west is University City. That's where Drexel and UPenn are. And so, you know, that's mostly students. It's not all students, but it's mostly students. There's restaurants out there. There's no parents to tell them what to do. They can order a pizza at 10 p.m. You know, no one's stopping them. No one's stopping. You know, they can order whatever they want. You know, and oftentimes, you know, they're studying. You know, they order delivery. But, you know, another thing you got to be mindful of is that, you know, college students, they're going to college so that they can make more money in the future. That doesn't mean they have money now. Okay, so a lot of their tips, might be a little light. Okay, so that's also something to know. So that's like examples of getting to know your DoorDash, city or town or whatever by areas, So that's number 2. So number 3. So number 3 is, like, let's say you're picking up an order. You get to the restaurant and they say, sorry, it's not ready yet. So, your first question should be, when will it be ready? So, and then that's where, based on what they say, you have to weigh if canceling your order is, best for you, long term. So, like I said before, dinner time is where you make most of your money. That's where most of the big orders, people are ordering for their family. That's where like the bigger tips are. If there's a big enough surge, it will usually be during dinner time. And like I said before, DoorDash, it used to be that some orders, you'd oftentimes, the surge would be over $5, at least my experience in Philly. But in the very beginning, when I first started DoorDashing, the orders would be 15 or more, the surge would be over $5, and you were making, I could make 30 an hour. But nowadays, in the last month or two, it seems like with DoorDash going public, they've cut drivers' wages. I mean, that's just plain and simple what I've seen in my experience. So I used to be making 30 an hour, and it was great. But now it's 15 an hour, and you really got to put some like restrictions on how to make the most out of this BS that they'd be giving us. If they're going to take 15 minutes or longer to make the food, then you got to consider canceling the order, And so obviously, as a DoorDash driver, really the only thing other than like being rude or taking the food or, any obvious things like that, the only way that they could possibly, just throw you off a DoorDash, kick you off and you can't come back, is if you have a completion percentage. They say online, of completion percentage of 80% or less, and they can kick you off. But nowadays there's so many drivers out there that I wouldn't want to get anywhere near that 80%. So I would try and keep that completion percentage over 90%. And so that completion percentage is per your last 100 orders. That's not like your orders as a total. It's just your last 100. So you kind of just have to be mindful, keep an eye on that completion percentage, and cancel it if it's going to take a while. Because if it's prime dinner time, there's other orders out there, then you can't just be waiting 15 minutes. You're not getting any other orders once you're locked into one order. So that's number 3. Pretty sure that's 3. Number 4 is to, same way to get to know your area, make mental notes of all the restaurants you go to. Best case scenario, you walk up to the restaurant, food's ready, hand it to you immediately, and you get on the road. That's the best case scenario. A lot of times, it just doesn't work like that. A lot of times people are ordering from restaurants where, hey, guess what? They're not the only one ordering from that restaurant, So you just got to make a mental note. If there's like a dozen people waiting outside, like for me in Philly, Cheesecake Factory at dinner time on the weekends is a mess. Okay, I know that I'm not accepting any orders from Cheesecake Factory, no matter how much it is. I mean, if it's over $20, I'll have to consider it, but that's not going to happen nowadays. But nowadays, with COVID, is there a lot of people? Are there people without masks? Like, do you got to walk past all these tables with people, they're eating, so they don't have their mask on? You just kind of have to weigh the risks. Do you really want to accept an order from that place? So, and that goes back to like those $4 orders. Like, let's say you know this restaurant, and that they're good, and that they're probably not busy right now, and it's a $4 order and it's quick, then you can accept it. All these things should factor into your decision, not just the money. A lot of people, they just see the money and they go accept. and then they realize, like, now I'm waiting. And, that's why I'm saying, like, you want to try and get 2 orders an hour to be able to get, a decent hourly, rate while door dashing. So make a mental note of all the restaurants you get deliveries from, so you kind of know how it goes, and it'll make it easier to accept or decline orders. So there's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is communication with the customer. Okay, the last thing that you want as a DoorDash driver is to get your tip reduced after the fact based on something that could have been avoided. So what does that mean? So let's say you get to the restaurant, they say it's going to take 10 minutes. You're going to decide, okay, I'll wait the 10 minutes. So you wait the 10 minutes. So after they say 10 minutes, you should then communicate with the customer, either text or call, probably text, and just let them know, hey, I'm at the restaurant. They say it's going to take 10 minutes. So that way they know this is not your fault. The restaurant, it's on the restaurant. They're not going to reduce the tip for something based on the restaurant, because most people should know that the tip goes to the driver. So you're communicating with the customer, okay, hey, I'm at the restaurant now, and they say it's going to take 10 minutes. Okay, so that's great. You communicate with the customer, but that does not mean that you should be overly communicating with the customer. Okay, so with the app, they know, they can see your car on the GPS. They know when you're getting closer. So you don't need to text them, hey, I'm on my way, hey, I'm 5 minutes out. You don't need to say any of that. Okay, they also get a notification when you receive the order. So you don't need to text them, hey, I have the order, I'm on my way, because DoorDash, the app, will tell them that. DoorDash will default to no contact delivery during, COVID and all that. So oftentimes people that don't tip, or my girlfriend will just drop it off and take a picture and keep it moving. If they tip or they seem nice, or maybe it's a bad area and you want to make sure that they get their food, because once you drop it, you take a picture, technically it's out of your hands, but like, you don't want this person to not get their dinner. Come on now. Most of the time what we do is we call the customer when we're there. So there are 3 things that can happen, when you call. They can either say, hey, you can just leave it there at the front door, it's okay. Or they will say, hold on, I'll be right there. Or they'll say, can you actually bring it up to my apartment? So a lot of times if they want you to bring it up to their apartment, they usually write it in the app. So be mindful of that. That's it. That was the 5. So those are just some tips that, I wish I knew when I started. These are tips that I learned through experience. It's kind of changed with COVID now and DoorDash cutting the wages, but you just gotta roll with the punches. I have a friend that delivers for Uber Eats, and he was saying how he delivered 4 orders and made $12. What? That's ridiculous. That's why I say, like, you gotta cut it off at the $4. But okay, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you. And please, if you try out any of these tips, or if you have any thoughts on, hey, you're dumb, why would I not accept for $4? Let me know what you think. These are things that I think would be helpful to you as a driver of DoorDash. So, I hope this video helps you, and I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for watching. Peace out.